Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Brandon. Welcome to Audio Addiction, where you can find latest album reviews. You can find our band interviews, and you can find live coverage of the concerts that we get. I've been really busy as of late, so I've been trying to punch out as much content as I possibly can. So check out all of our interviews. I've been posting them Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A bunch of live videos, so definitely check those out. I posted one of O Sleeper really recently, and also I've just been trying to catch up on doing these album reviews. I've been trying to post them early if I can, so if you notice a trend, those things will be coming out a little bit sooner. But tonight, we're going to be talking about Wage War's newest record, Pressure.
Everything around keeps changing. I've been thinking that maybe I'm to blame. Maybe we're both the same.
So, as many of you know, I'm a big fan of this band. I think I did a review of their newest record, Dead Weight. If I didn't, I really enjoyed that one, and I've enjoyed the progress that this band's made. I think that Blueprints is still my favorite Wage War record, but I was excited to go into this one. I really liked Low. Liked a lot of their singles, and so I wanted to try to give you guys a quick look and an early look at the newest record. So I'm going to go through each track, give you my thoughts and opinions on it, go through some pros and cons, and then finish it out with an overall rating. So the first track is called Who I Am. They released a music video for this one, as well as it being one of the singles, and I feel like this track really falls in line with what you expect from Wage War. Now, if you've been a fan for a while, this one definitely is right up your alley if you enjoy what they've been putting out, whether it be from Blueprints or Deadweight. I feel like this is well in that lane. The guitar work is really solid. I think Seth and Cody really have some nice guitar riffs going on in this track, and I also feel like one of the biggest selling points of this band, that I've probably have said in a lot of the other reviews that I've done, but I think Brenton is one of the best screamers out in the game now. I love that aggressive nature he brings to a lot of these tracks. I think his screaming is really well done, and obviously it's not understated at all, but just his screaming is so solid on this track and a lot of the other tracks off this record. But I really enjoyed this one. Really not too far out of their wheelhouse in terms of just what you expect from the band, but I will say it's very catchy and definitely remains to be one of my favorite singles off that have come out of this record so far. So we're moving to track number 2, which is Prison. I like that the end of Who I Am leads into Prison. I think that's really solid, and I think it's a nice song structure thing that they got going on. I know they work very well and very close with Jeremy McKinnon of A Day to Remember, so I feel like he has a little bit of creative touch in that regard when they do pre-pro and stuff. But getting back to the track Prison, this is another single that they had released recently. To me, it feels very new metal influenced. The guitar riffs, some of the writing feels very inspired by that. I like that Chris, their bass player, had his own sort of part in the second verse. I feel like you don't really hear that too often in a lot of the music that surrounds this type of genre. So it's cool to hear that every once in a while as a switch up. Again, keeping very much in their own lane. I think it is another very solid track. Nothing, again, out of the books for Wage War. Nothing super creative, but this is the type of band that I don't really expect that much out of the realm of what they do, but I was definitely surprised with some of the tracks that I'll be talking about further along in this record. So we're going to move into track number 3, which is Grave. This one is one of my favorites, and I will say at first I was not really sold on the track initially. I felt like it was very odd, and especially after listening to the singles, I wasn't really sold on it initially, and so I feel like this one definitely has grown on me and has become one of my favorites. It's a nice change of pace from a lot of their other material. It still kind of has a little bit of a heavier vibe to it, but it's not screaming. There isn't too much screaming to it, but I feel like the way that it's written feels very along the lines of pop music and mainstream music. It has some really cool electronic elements in this track, And I feel like it really plays off of their more melodic nature. It has some really cool kind of like group vocal parts, and it's very different from what they've done in the past, and I really appreciate that. I would love to hear some harmonies dubbed over. I think that would have been a nice touch, and I think it would have really sold home a lot of the songs, especially the chorus. I would say it would have definitely brought out the chorus a lot, and I would love to hear Britton do some cleans. I loved it in the Johnny Cash stripped down version, so I know he can definitely sing. I would love to hear him and Cody kind of do some clean vocals together. I think that would be really tight. The hooks are super on point in this track, and I think that's another reason why I feel like Jeremy had a pretty big hand in doing a lot of some of the more like melodic based tracks, because he can definitely, you can definitely pick out a lot of the melodies that I feel like they may have discussed, may have talked about, and this again really floored me at first, and I didn't really understand it, but now I just am super in love with this track without a doubt. So we're gonna move into track number 4, which is Ghost. This one is another favorite of mine, and I think really Britton brings the pain in this track. He really sticks out, and I love it. I think that he really needed a strong track to just really kind of go hard in, and I feel like this one he definitely brings it. Cody has a really solid performance in this track as well. I would say the best part that he's in is definitely the chorus. It's super powerful. I love it. I really feel like it soars in this track. But the biggest surprise to me in this track was the drumming. I really dug it. There's some really clean blast beat parts, as well as some really tasty fills going on here. And I feel like Steven really is a little bit underrated in some of these tracks, but I feel like he's very much highlighted in this song, which is awesome. There's this really nice solo at the 1 minute and 40-second mark to around the 2 minute mark that is done by Seth. I think he really does a really nice solo, and I'm really kind of surprised that they haven't really touched on that in Dead Weight at all, or in their previous record before that, Blueprints. But it is really solid. It's heavy, it's aggressive, and it's everything that I love that Wage War does. So we're going to move into track number 5, which is Me Against Myself. I believe this is the most recent single, but it's one of my favorites. It's one of the softer ones off the record, but I really can hear a lot of the Dana Remember, Jeremy influence in this track. I think, again, he had a heavy hand in writing some, if not all, of the melodic tracks going on in this record. But it has this really great polish to it. I love the sort of softer melodic moments that are brought out in this track. I think that it really highlights a lot of Cody's voice. I think that would be otherwise like remiss in tracks like Low, Prison, Who I Am. I think it really pulls out a lot of the sort of like tenderer moments that would be not in heavier tracks that they have going on. And they've done a lot of slower songs off of any of their previous works, but I feel like this one is definitely some of their best stuff that they've got going on. I would love if, again, Britton contributed in terms of some clean vocals, like I had mentioned in Grave. I think it would have been really tight to hear some clean vocals done by him. Super well written songs. I think this one is probably in my top off this record, just being based off of songwriting and just like the melodic nature of the song, and just being overall super catchy. I think they really were able to find a lot of great hooks in this track, and is definitely not understated in this song. So we're gonna move into track number 6, which is Hurt. I love the honesty in this track. I think that, at some points, I feel like people would probably think the lyrics are a little bit cringy, but I just love the like sound to it. It feels very much along the lines of Johnny Cash, but obviously without some of the heavier stuff. I feel like it's more along the lines of Me Against Myself, as well. I just love the cleans that are going on in this track. I think that Cody was a little able to further expand his vocal register a little bit more. I think that Me Against Myself and Her are some of his best representation of the sort of slower, more melodic tracks, and I love that. I would have loved some harmonies, like I have been mentioning, in some of the slower songs, just because I feel like live, I know that they would do that, and so I would have loved to hear it kind of fully realized in a lot of these tracks. The instrumentation in this track is solid as well. I love the sort of electronic dubs that are going on in this track. It adds a cool texture to it, and I think, again, instrumentally it's solid, but I think vocally it really takes the cake for sure. So we're gonna move into track number 7, which is Low. This is the first single that they released, and it's one of my favorites. It's still one of my favorites. So early on, I really enjoyed it, but I think that it really just they just brought it in this track. It does have some really beefy riffs, and I like that. Again, they keep with sort of the darker tonality of the song. I think it really translates well into a song like this. The chorus has some really great hooks to it, and I think that Cody just puts a ton of heart into his delivery of this song as well. You can really hear it, feel it, all that sort of stuff, and I really like just what's going on with it. I think the drumming is like stupid tight, and I love the sort of ghost notes and the rolls kind of thrown in there. Like I said, there's just this underlying techie sort of element to Steven's drumming that I feel like not a lot of people point out, and I would love to hear more of it in future stuff that they do. Just really works with their sound and what they've got going on. We're gonna move into track number 8, which is The Line. This one's one of my favorites. It's probably my favorite track, up with probably the last track, which I'll be talking about it's very soon. But this one is so different from what they do. Like, I feel like they borrowed from a little bit of a different genre in this track. It has a little bit of a new metal vibe to it. It's really hard to place, but it's definitely got the riffs. I love it. I think Cody and Seth really killed it on this track. I think it's by far my favorite guitar bass track. And it really took me by surprise upon first listen, like I had mentioned. It's different from what they typically do, and it's really fresh, and I like that they switched it up in this track. I think they really brought a different energy, a different feel, and I like that they're branching out in terms of just how they can go heavy, but maybe in a different direction. The breakdown in this track is super tight. Again, when I first listened to it, I was super surprised, and I think a lot of you will be surprised once it comes out, and then you'll be able to listen to it. So we're gonna move into track number 9, which is Fury. This is a heavy boy. Definitely pulls a lot more from like the hardcore and like heavier metalcore vibes. Like again, they took out Kubla Khan, so I feel like it pulls from those guys as well. And I just feel like they're on their quest to find the next River, their heavier track. I think it's solid. Nothing really to write home about. I think it's a solid heavy track, but nothing like too out of the box that you would expect from Wage War. So we're gonna move into track number 10, which is Forget My Name. This one I feel like is very much a sleeper song. It's a little bit heavier. I think they pull a lot from a lot of the melodicness of their band, and so I love this sort of tappy guitar riff in the intro. I think it has a different feel overall, but I like it. The vocal melodies are really awesome in this track. They're super memorable, and I just like the layered vocals and just how everything kind of feels very like open. It has this sort of like real big sound to it, and I feel like they really didn't tackle that in their previous works, whether it be Blueprints or Deadweight. So it was different to hear them try something out of the box, something different that I wasn't really expecting from them. So really solid song, one of my favorites, definitely a super sleeper song off the record. So we're gonna move into track number 11, which is Take Fight. I don't know why I said Take Flight, because that's not what it says, but anyway, getting back to the track, this one is unique. It is definitely drop tune. It has to be like drop E sharp, G sharp, or heavier. It's very interesting. I really don't know how to place this track. Britain kind of does this sort of like yell in the verses, and Cody does this really solid but kind of out of place chorus. And so I really don't know how to feel about this song. It's not one that I was really necessarily stoked on. But I really don't have anything bad to say about it. I guess it's just not interesting to me. And I think I appreciate what they're trying to do in terms of experimentation, but it just really didn't work for me. So we're gonna move into the last track, track number 12. I mean, Will We Ever Learn? And this one is by far my favorite. Hands down, I think this is one of the best tracks that they've written. I love the real ethereal intro. Slash, like kind of first verse. I think it's super tight. They really changed it up. It almost has this sort of like reverb, sort of like back place sort of vibe to it, and it's super different. They really changed it up, and the instrumentals are super awesome in this track. They really changed it up. They have some really like kind of slow melodic moments, but there's also some really kind of awesome guitar riffs that are brought to you by Cody and Seth. I think they really brought it in this track. And they just made it unique. I think they could definitely do more stuff like this, and I would be super stoked about it. One of my favorite choruses, I think they really knocked it out of the park on this track. It has some really awesome heavy elements, has some really awesome just melodic moments, and I think this band was just firing on all cylinders on this track. I am just 100% about this song, and I'm just really excited for you guys to listen to this one, because I think it is extremely well done. So some pros and cons that I have about the record. I'll start with the cons. I think vocally they could definitely experiment some more, like I have been mentioning a lot. I feel like Britain could definitely do some clean vocals, and I feel like Cody could definitely do like some like kind of like yells or some screams, just to kind of like switch it off, because I've definitely seen them live and they've done stuff like that. And I think that if they added that into their arsenal, they really could add a new tool and a new flavor to Wage War that I feel like a lot of people would be on board with for sure, especially considering after that acoustic song that they did for Johnny Cash, and also Gravity as well. I think just experimenting in general, there's some songs that felt very much in their lane. I would love for them to kind of break out of that mold. I think, again, tracks like track number 12, Will We Ever Learn? Hurt, I think, is another really good one. The Line is another fantastic one. I'd say Grave is definitely those tracks. I feel like they really took what they know and kind of flipped it, and I appreciate that as somebody who listens to a lot of music. I like what they did. I think solid vocals, solid instrumentation, but I just love to hear a little bit more, and I think they could definitely push a lot more in their next record. So my overall rating for Wage War's Pressure, I'm going to be giving it a 9.3 out of 10. It's one you should definitely check out. I feel like not a lot of people were really big fans of Deadweight. You can weigh in the comments if you like that. I feel like a lot of people are all about Blueprints, and I mean, it is a fantastic record, so I can't complain. But I feel like this one kind of sits in the middle. I mean, it's still very early for me. I've had it for a couple weeks, but I still feel like for me this one is one that I think I can work on, and I think it can definitely surpass my thoughts on Deadweight. But I like what they're doing with. I like the base starting point that they're at, and I hope that they kind of continue to expand and change their sound as the records go on. But let me know in the comments what you think about this record. It comes out on August 30th, so I want to give a massive shout outs to Adam Splitter and Fearless for letting me check this out early. Hopefully you guys will check it out when it comes out as well. And hopefully this will give you an idea of what you can expect. But if you enjoyed this review, share it, like it, subscribe. It goes a long way. And thank you guys for your massive support. It means a lot. Be putting out a ton more album reviews very soon, and just a ton of other content in general, so keep your eyes peeled. Like I said, my name is Brandon. We hope you got your fix, and we'll be talking with you soon. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Of course, if you enjoy what we do, make sure to go check out the other series we do. We do album reviews, we do band interviews, and we do live videos, so definitely go check that out. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps out our channel, helps us grow. Make sure to hit that like button as well. Go follow us on social media. That's all down below. We try to keep that as updated as possible. We also made a new website where we'll be posting photos of upcoming concerts and stuff like that, which you can go check out at audioaddictionmedia.com and come get your fix with us, guys. Talk to you later. Deuces.